I'll literally put it on when I'm like cleaning or doing laundry or whatever, and then I'll also do it cooking. When I meal prep is my favorite time to watch a podcast.
You said every day you watch something though, like a podcast, or
No, like when I like meal prep, when I clean, which I should be cleaning every day, but I guess I'm not. So it should be every day.
clean every day, Jared? No.
No, it's one of those things that if you need to be consistent, or it's easy to forget about it if you don't go through a room.
I feel like it's so hard. If you miss one day of cleaning, that's it. You're gonna be cleaning for like a week and a half.
It depends on the size of your house too, though, because I feel like for some people, we lived in a studio apartment for a while, and it was easy to clean that place.
Yeah, there's 400 square feet.
Now we live in a house, and it's like a different world.
What do you feel like the hardest thing to keep up with cleaning is?
Probably just putting stuff away. Like I've heard the minimalists talk about this on their show. They said that like the average American home has 300,000 items in it. Like if you were to count every item in the house, spoons, forks, junk drawer, pull
Hair
out
ties, bobby
every little
pins.
thing. The average home has 300,000 items. So I think it's more so like it's hard to put everything back where it goes exactly.
Yeah, well, 300,000 things is a lot.
How many do you think we have in our house?
Like 150,000. I think we have a lot less
sound
than the
right?
average person.
Does that sound right?
I feel like we have so much less than the average people. We
gonna-
only have 4 plates and 4 bowls. 6 bowls, because we have 2 of the really wide ones, but we have 4 and 4. We have like 2 glass cups. We have like 4 plastic cups.
I think we'll get some accurate numbers on this soon. So
No, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
accurate.
I don't know.
Tell me we've not gotten rid of a bunch of stuff lately.
No, I have. Yeah, every time we move, that's a husband 101 is you secretly throw stuff away.
Not secretly. You're very open about your discarding.
Yeah, but that's the stuff that you saw. All right, good news, new episode. Thanks so
What's
much
up?
for joining us. Welcome back to the podcast. We got angles here, angles there, angles there. Today I'm joined by the one, the only, my most favorite person in the whole world, the most beautiful person in the whole world, my wife, Randy.
Hi. Hi. How close
Hi.
is this supposed to be?
I don't know.
I was just gonna hold it right here. Okay.
Typically we
hey.
have, with Sherman and Pastor Obed, we had like mic stands.
Yeah, where are those guys?
So they're at the theater, right? Yeah. Anyway, so this is episode 3.
3.
Episode 3 of Good
Woohoo.
News. Here we are. Thanks everybody for listening. Man, we are sitting right now. Actually, we're filming at our new church location. And so, how do you feel?
This is so crazy. I
had the
can't even
craziest week.
believe we're allowed in here.
Nah, like we've had the craziest week. It's just been nonstop. And recently we announced our church getting a building. And so for episode 3, I was like, I got to get my wife on anyways because she'll be hosting episodes. And
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. Thank you for accepting our request
You're welcome.
from the other side.
I will
of the
take
bed.
my honorarium after we wrap.
No, this is all by the goodness of your heart. But yeah, we just had a crazy week, and we wanted to take a show here where we actually just talked about obviously the building, and I wanted to hear your thoughts being a church planter and
Yeah.
being a pastor now in a small town. Everyone kind of watching knows our story, so we don't need to go way back, but like
Yeah.
you are a church planter, you are a mom, you're a hairstylist,
Yes.
you do hair and makeup now full time.
Yes, I do.
And so like you do it all. And so I definitely wanted to hear.
Oh, Lord.
I wanted to hear like, how's it been like just the last couple days? Like, how you doing? How's life? What's going on with you?
Yeah, I feel like it's good. It's hard. It's definitely hard. I think a lot of people look from the outside in and know that there's a lot going on, right? I feel like you look at our life and you know that we have like so much stuff happening all the time. But yeah, I think the last few days have been good. My schedule's filling up. Like Billy was saying, I'm starting at a new salon.
Yeah.
I haven't worked in 3 years.
It's been like 3 years, I think.
2 years
Probably, yeah.
since I
because-
started IVF.
Right,
which
because
was-
before we started that journey, you were working like
All the
40 to
time.
50 hours a week
Yeah.
on top of church.
Yeah. So I haven't worked in 2 years, which is weird when I actually think about it, because that's a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always worked when we were
Yeah,
married.
I mean, from the time we met you, I think you're working at Costco.
Yeah, I remember. I was
it
in
your first job?
cosmetology school.
Costco was your first job, or what was?
No, did I work at Victoria's Secret after Costco or before?
I'm just saying. I think if I would have met you, I would have remembered if your first job was Victoria's Secret.
That's
I'm
true.
just saying that would have been something I would have been like. I met this girl from church who works at Victoria's Secret. That would have been how
It's
I
just a
explained
retail job.
I would have explained you to everybody that way. But I think it wasn't then. I think it must have been.
Yeah, so Costco would have been like my
Or
first
you-
official.
Yeah, or it was like a T-shirt shop maybe.
Yeah, I worked at a t-shirt
there, I
shop
think.
with
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. I was there. I was at a t-shirt shop for a little bit, like doing screen printing with Addie's Gigi's brother, who's passed now. Rest in peace, Gunzy. We love you. I think him, when working with him in the beginning of like my work career, it set up a lot. He was like a really hard worker, super encouraging all the time, like, and just told me, if you keep sticking to whatever you want to do, you'll get good at it. Just stick to it. So yeah, I was there for a little bit, but it was also, he gave me a job because I was like under 18. And I wasn't allowed to like
so
really
it was
work
almost like
anywhere.
a family hookup thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Hey, you're not really on the payroll, but you know.
Then I was at Costco, and then the reason I was at Costco was because I was in cosmetology school.
Right, Milan.
Milan. Yeah, I was in cosmetology school, and so they were really flexible with their hours to let me work because I was in school full time. I would go to school, remember, Tuesday to Saturday from like 8 in the morning to like 7 at night. And then, so fast forward all those years of a bunch of different random crazy jobs while also always doing hair and makeup. Like I would always have almost like 3 jobs. It was church. I would have a job, like a full-time job. And then I would be doing hair and makeup on the side.
Yeah, because church was never just like, I go to church.
No, it was never like I just go to church.
For Randy was always like, I plan the set, I sing the set, I train the people that sing the set, I take them to coffee after the set.
Yep.
It was like a little bit
all that
everything,
stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm starting at a salon that actually one of the girls in our church and her friend just started like 3 months ago?
Yeah, brand new spot, maybe like 30 minutes north
From
of here.
Yeah, from here.
Yeah,
And
girl in
she's
our church.
21. So it's just super inspiring that this 21-year-old is gonna like chase her dream, open a salon, and like start all this stuff. I was really inspired by it, so I started asking her questions, and we would talk. And she knew I did hair for a while, and then she just started right when they opened. Was like, "When are you gonna rent? When are you gonna rent?" And I was like, "No, this isn't what I'm doing right now. Like, I don't want to focus on that." But as the time went on, we both knew I needed to get a job soon.
Yeah.
I wanted to also. I just feel like for my sanity, like having something else.
Yeah, I think
that I
being a
can-
new mom,
Yeah.
I think a lot of moms listening would probably say like, once I got some sort of thing back or
Mm-hmm.
rhythm back or job, whether it's going back to work or whether it's developing a new hobby,
Yep.
like that thing psychologically kind of kicks you out of
Yeah.
just that constant
Well, like hyper focus on one. Yeah.
You can't go into a room without thinking about what's my baby doing.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Yeah. So yeah, we got to talking, and just recently we settled a day, and so I'll be starting technically at the end of this month, which this will probably be out by then. Yay. And it also helps that like
If
you're in
Western
it.
New York and want a book.
Period. Looks by Randy on Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your handle?
Hook it up. Do you
Looks
have
by
anything to
Randy.
plug? Yes,
Yeah.
Looks by Randy. But it helps though that like you can actually watch our daughter without me there.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
that's-
rare.
That's the thing. I mean, people that watch our vlog, I think, have got to see what our life is like out in a small town. But also being a new church, there's been a lot of flexibility we've been able to have. A lot of our meetings are at night.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time that we spend with people when you're trying to build anything, plug anything, trying to get anyone's attention, you have to kind of go with their schedule.
Yep.
And so a lot of stuff we do is at night out here. So I feel like I'm able to make it work where I can be a stay-at-home
Yeah.
dad, but still have meetings at the house.
Yeah,
Or
but
like-
I also feel like even if you didn't have the flexibility, but I needed to work nights throughout the week and we didn't have anything, you would still be fully capable of watching Atlas,
yeah.
which I feel like is rare, to
Yeah,
be
you think
honest.
so?
Yeah, I think being able to have a partner that you can leave your child with and go, not just go like take care of yourself like a mom goes and takes care of herself for 2 or 3 hours, has a self-care day, but like I can be gone for 10 to 12 hours working at a wedding, and you're not like complaining, I don't need to find a babysitter, I don't need to this, which I get there's different dynamics, but like
Sure.
I feel like I feel really confident and secure going into and getting a job and working working the hours I'm going to work, because you also make it very doable to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that has to be, in any marriage, there has to be like an understanding when a new season comes, it's going to affect both people.
Yeah, and you have to be willing
And you
to
have to be
step
willing
up
to
in the
adjust.
places, because
Right.
right now, or since Atlas has been born, so the last 16 months or whatever it is, we've both been able to keep up our house at the same level of availability. We've been able
trying.
to take care of Atlas with the same level of availability. We've been able, like, we both have the same amount of time free. Now I'm going to be working more, so that requires more from you. So I think it is a sacrifice that I'm going to go work, but it's a sacrifice on you because that means you'll be doing stuff that you didn't do before, and you're actually willing to do it.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because like think about just our life, obviously being married now 7 years, but having a kid now on top of, planting a church. And now we've got you getting a job. We're obviously sitting in the church's new home. Like as just a, woman, how would you describe, like, how do you prepare for so many changes in your life? Like, how do you still be a great mom and have the time now and flexibility to be able, to go do hair while the church is getting a building and we're still building? Like, how would you respond to that question? Someone says, how do you balance all that?
It's literally the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
You have a grace for it. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like in a practical sense, I listen to worship music and I pray way more now than I've ever prayed in my whole life. Like, I think we try to make it all these other things, and religion tries to give you all these lists of things and ways to get to God or get to peace. But the only way you're going to get there is if you spend time with him and you read his word.
That's so good.
There's like nothing more. There's more than that. Sure. I could give you a checklist of ways to make your self-care better. And I could tell you that like you have to schedule things out and manage your schedule and check in with your significant other, whatever. But you don't have the energy to do any of that unless you're like praying and reading your Bible and spending time with Jesus.
That seems like everything builds on top of that.
Yeah.
We talk to worship leaders a lot, and we talk to young people that look up to you, and they're always like, man, how do I grow in like my spontaneous gifting? And how do I grow in like, the Holy Spirit using me in the middle of a worship set? And I love your answer, because you're always like, read your Bible and pray. Like, it is just so simple. Yeah. But I think sometimes people forget, like, their religion is a part of them. It's like a trophy case thing. It's like they love to show it off in certain moments, but then when they're actually needing to put into practice the stuff they say they believe, it kind of becomes a distant thing. We had a couple we were meeting with, and we were just opening up about the building process and like, how the devil can easily just kind of trick your mind into thinking things are happening or get you to, reinvent a story about how someone said. And so we were talking with a couple and we were like, man, like the last like 4 months have been probably the most difficult months of our marriage.
Yeah.
And this couple kind of looked up at us and was like, you guys are the pastors though, and that's another thing. There's just an expectation the pastors be perfect.
Yeah, don't even get me started.
Anyways, and as we said, no, it's been the most difficult 4 months. Like we've had emotional moments, we've fought, we've had to forgive each other, we've had to apologize, like we've gone through that. And they said, well, how do you guys do that? We couldn't even tell. We were like, we actually do it. We put into practice these principles, like don't go to sleep mad at each other, or be slow to speak, quick to listen. Like these aren't just scriptures for your coffee cup.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
These are things we put into play.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. People, when I tell people that we've probably never gone to sleep angry at each other, because we literally will end up staying up. We can't sleep when we're angry at each other.
If we're angry in a fight,
it's like 1 a.m. We're still fully awake.
Like, we have to end this.
But yeah, I mean, those things definitely matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely the most practical. I want to ask a question to you. How do you, because I feel like you are such a healthy leader for our family, without being like the quote unquote alpha male, whatever. How do you fight the urges to like, or do you even have those urges to be like, you need to listen to what I say, how I do it. I have the final say. Cause I feel like we communicate, you ask me how I feel about stuff before you just say, this is what we're doing. It's over. Or we're not doing that, or we're doing this. How do you stay away from that? Not fall into the mold, like to feed your ego as a man?
I think it's just like the way I want to receive something is how I start by giving it. And so like, I wouldn't want to be dominated. I wouldn't want to constantly be told like, this is your role. You got to listen to me. Like, I wouldn't want to be told like, you're not doing it right. You got to let him in. Like, so I just try to base my life in a sense of, I want to view people, treat people, hope for people, give grace to people the same way that I would want it given to me.
Yeah.
And so like the alpha male thing, especially when you look on like social media and just how quickly like tribes can come together nowadays, the alpha male thing to me seems more like a void that just like, this is like an appearance thing. This is like, I am doing this because there's something missing that I don't know how to navigate, And so for some people, they genuinely believe like, that dominant, like woman submit, I only do business with a man. Like there's people in our town that like, a woman does something and the man will be like, yeah. And then as soon as the husband calls, they're like, yes, sir, right on it.
Yeah.
And we've been a part of that. And it's like,
oh yeah,
it's just like, so for me, I think I resist those urges to just get you to submit because I'm a man.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want you to say something to me because I'm a man.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you know, you can't come into the birthing room because you're a man. Like, imagine if like you're giving birth to our child and you're like, oh, this is a woman's space. It's like, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
And that might seem drastic, but it's
Right.
like those same principles of I always want to extend something that I would want extended my way.
Do you feel like there's something very specific in those types of men that's missing? And what do you think it is?
It's probably just the need to be seen and heard, and you know, maybe they've felt they had to get dominant because their spouse hasn't accepted the real them. You know, there could be marriages where guys are having to turn into these like my way or the highway because for years they weren't appreciated for being, you know,
Gentle.
meek.
Meek.
Gentle, or the way they want to be. You know, I think a lot of it too is rooted in just tradition. I think like religion. I think over time when you just look at how thoughts get passed down from parents to us, to our kids, to their kids, I just think there's things that go unchecked in so many families.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've talked about Hispanic culture and like how in Hispanic culture, there's like a male thing. And, you know, we believe the Bible. It's not like we don't believe certain things about, you know, the male should be the spiritual leader of the household or like, you know, there's certain things that God expects us to do together. But it's like, we don't go around flaunting that like
First.
in every other part of our life.
Yeah.
Like,
And I feel like I have such a reverence and honor to what you say, where we're going, how we're doing it, because you don't lead with, I'm the leader, so you have to listen.
right.
It's like, I love you as a human being.
Yeah. Ooh, how many fights could we save if our thoughts and feelings were rooted in love
Instead
not
of
just
just
trying to be right?
authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think men would have so much more in these roles, like in these marriages that you see, that we see every day. We're not saying this just grabbing it from the sky. I mean, like we see it in our everyday life with these couples. I feel like we would see so much more success in them if it wasn't like, you have to listen to me.
Right.
It's, will you hear my heart? I feel like when we were going to move over here and you were very set on us starting a church, there was something in me that was like, I'm terrified. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I could easily have been like, well, I have to because you're the leader of our house. But when you sat down and you're like, no, I just want you to hear my heart and go pray and decide if you think that this is also where we're going. That I was, well, because it was led like that, instead of we're doing this and you don't have a choice, I was like, I'll pack my bags yesterday.
Yeah.
You know?
It's good. It's almost like how it starts is really how you'll receive it.
Well, if it's a conversation instead of just direction that someone has to take, I think it changes.
So we do fight.
We do fight.
We have fought. We're not like perfect people.
No, we fight. Yeah, we definitely fight.
What's your go-to strategy when we get into an argument?
What do you mean? Like how to win?
Just kidding. Well, I do think there's a right way to fight. Like, I feel like if there is a disagreement between a couple, like a wrong way to fight would be like to use words like always. You're always like this. That's a wrong. You never do this. Or I'm always having to be the ones dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
I think there is a right way to fight though, in a sense that like, you know, when you come at each other, it's not just like with all the stuff you used to do, you're genuinely saying, this is something I got to get across.
Yeah.
So what's your strategy when we got to get into a fight?
My strategy is I literally resist every urge to look at anything else but what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming to me about, like, let's create a scenario.
Let's say I'm upset because, you know, you took an extra hour to get ready and now I wanted to leave at a certain time and now it's
Great.
an hour late.
Got it. Okay. And you're upset in the car?
Yeah. And I'm just like
Okay.
usually like my kind of like strategy always comes through like tone or like I'm
Yeah.
just sarcastic, or I'm like, my weapon of choice seems to always be like sarcasm.
Yeah, it is.
And
It is.
it's still a fight, but it's not always the best way.
Yeah. So I think if you were to bring something up like that, there would probably be a part of me that wants to go, well, when I am ready, you're not even ready sometimes. Or how come?
Like a scoreboard.
Yeah. But instead of trying to keep a record of wrongs,
Yeah.
the Bible says love keeps no record of wrongs. Instead of trying to do that, I kind of just say, okay, what is he saying and what is it connected to? Because I know you as a person, like timeliness and all that stuff is a value for you. Like for you, it's respect to other people when we show up on time. So I know that the fact that I'm not ready for you and that's such a big deal for you, that's like disrespect to you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I would want to look at other things, I think my strategy is just to stay focused on whatever you're talking about specifically.
Yeah.
And then I try to breathe because I have sass and I have a lot of attitude.
That's what I was gonna say. I think sometimes it's like just deep breaths.
Yeah, I
where
literally
I'm
have to like take
taking
a deep breath.
second. You know, our strategy, blue skies, has always been a thing we practice. Like, hey, wait till the skies are blue. Shout out to Mark Francie for that, because him and his wife do that, Rochelle. But like, you know, we just say like, hey, now's not a good time to get into an argument. Let's blue skies this. Let's wait till the skies are blue and we get past this storm or we get past this issue.
Yeah, and then another thing is we just don't yell at each other.
Oh yeah, that's got to be key. I'm blown away. Like even in public sometimes when you see people just yelling at each other, like
It's pretty intense.
that they supposedly love. Like,
Yeah, we don't yell at each other.
Yeah.
Because that just makes it. I think I've definitely raised my voice. I have an urge.
This is like raising your voice is like, what does that look like? Like,
Are you freaking kidding me, dude? Like that.
this is a hey.
But I think you've only ever yelled like twice in 10 years.
Yeah, I just am not a yeller.
Yeah, even like you just get
Even when I try to get serious about like, I'm not okay with this, like I'll start laughing or something. Like it's like, I'll like want to go off on Randy about something. And then as soon as I get into it, I'm like smirking. And it's not doable.
Yeah.
I mean, and two, but like the seasons that we've been through, we've been married 7 years now. A lot of couples will come to us and say, you know, it's just this, it's that. And they're like on year 1 or they're on year 30, but it's the first year of actually looking at it through like a healthy lens. You know, and I'm always trying to tell people it's like compound. It just builds up, compounds.
Yeah.
It builds up. It gets better. It gets easier.
Yeah.
You go through more difficult things,
Yep.
but
But
start
you're also
to-
stronger
Yeah.
because of the years. I think too, like a lot of the stuff that we deal with, a lot of like but a lot of relationships, it has to do and it starts with like relationship with Jesus, I think.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
that's
we
gotta
have
be basic.
so many people that sit with us and talk, and it's like, well, you know, the more you uncover how much Jesus really loves you, the more that you fall into that ability to be loved by him.
Yep.
Then I think when you go and love other people or you love your significant other, and when you're from that place, like it just changes a lot of things.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like you realize how deeply loved you are, how deeply loved your significant other is. And then you start to say, I can't talk to them that way.
Yeah.
I can't expect that of them. I can't make them do this by themselves. I can't fall asleep angry on them. Like, because you have an understanding of how loved you are,
Yeah.
then from that, I think there's a lot of the ability to forgive, to be generous with your thoughts, to be slow to speak, to be the one that you're saying you're wrong, to be the obedient one, like to apologize. That stuff starts to come easy
Yeah.
when you realize how loved you are and how small this is.
Yeah. The situations when
Yeah.
you make it big, the love you recognize seems to get small.
Mm-hmm.
But when you keep that love, like, no, my wife loves me. So that situation is actually small compared to that.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about just the last couple of months how difficult it's been. I think it's almost been leading up to like this building. And I
Oh,
think
I've
that-
1,000%, dude. 1,000%.
I think sometimes like a marriage goes through tests and challenges because God has always got something on the horizon. And so for us, you know, we had a denial in this process. The bank
Yeah.
denied us. That was a letdown. We've gone back and forth just about who do we tell? When do we tell the church? How do we do this? Should we ask for money? But it still led to a miracle.
Yeah, I think
It's
for
so
sure.
cool to be like a part.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day on a Sunday, like after there's been like impact, salvations, rededications, people's lives have been changed, all that stuff like that. Literally, we'll get home or I'll get home on a Sunday and I'll tell myself, oh, that's why the week was
That's
so hard.
why this happened. Yeah,
That's why it was
pastors-
such a challenge.
If there's pastors watching or if anybody in ministry, you know this. Like everything leads up towards what God's going to do in the altar or in
and
the
how
service.
distracted the devil can get you before you
Yes.
come to that.
And if he can get you into that building frustrated and running late and upset, then maybe he can
Scattered, in a
throw off
hurry.
what's going to happen in the room. And I get you. When we get home, it's funny. We get home and it's like, oh, that's why I felt so, empty this week or tired
Talk about
this week,
talk
or
about the text you spoke on the week.
day of.
Well, okay, so let's start to tell this a little bit more of this building story.
Yeah.
Because let's start from conception, but I want to just say the Sunday that after you spoke, after we got the denial from the bank, you spoke on scripture that was like, I think it was Psalm 131, and it was like, I don't
132.
132.
It was I'm not going to rest until I find a place for the
No,
Lord.
the week before.
Yeah.
We got denied and you had to speak on that Sunday. You got denied from the bank and then that Sunday you had to speak. And it was like, we were discouraged. We were super discouraged because we got declined from the bank. And then I think you spoke on Psalm 131 and it was like, I don't
do not occupy myself with things. Yes. Okay.
So hard.
What had happened was we've been meeting 8 months now, set up and tear down. It's been going great. Like we're so blown
Love
away.
our team. Everybody's killing it.
Love the area. Love what this place is about. God has done things in this small little town bigger than we could have ever imagined. So 8 months in, we started looking at property. And we actually toured a property. It was like a bunch of land and, probably $1 million project to renovate this space.
At least.
Yeah. Excuse me. And so we're like, yeah, we got faith. We could do it. And then after a while, we're like, well, do we really want to do it?
Faith, but also like, do you have wisdom?
Yeah. And so we had known about an empty church building that had been in town since we moved here. Back in January of 2021, when we moved here, Ben, my brother-in-law, took me to see a building and took me to see this building and was like, let's go look at it. And so we approached the owners and they said, no, we need to sell it. And
Because we wanted to do like a lease to buy
we were
or like
let's
anything.
launch out of here. It'd be great to start here. And we ended up launching out of the theater and it was incredible. So glad we went that route. And then 8 months later, we didn't like that $1 million project. So we said, why don't we approach this again? And we came and looked at it a few times and
I remember you mentioned it and I was like, no.
I think, I'd mentioned it a couple times and a few people were like, just not sure. And, but you do set up and tear down for so long. Some of those not
You're
sure.
like, that sounds great now.
I don't want to lift anything anymore. So we came and approached them and they said, here's how much we're selling it for. So we reached out to our investment company and they give loans to churches. And so, fasted, prayed and, told the church we didn't even tell the church.
No, we didn't.
Applied. Yeah.
We just started praying.
We were just told a few leads. We're going to start praying for this. And then when we met with them, they denied us. And they said, we love what gospel's doing. We love what God's doing there. It's just too early.
Just a baby.
Yeah. They said, can you give us like another year to really understand the trends and all that? And so we were pretty discouraged. And that was on Saturday that we had that call. And then Sunday, church comes and we prep our messages, 6 to 8 weeks in advance. Not our actual messages, but like the topics.
And the text.
Yeah. And we learned that from Pastor Obed and Lisette. Shout out to our pastors. We love you. But so we have our sermon series planned out 6 weeks. And the topic I was preaching on was Psalm 131, where David says,
I do not occupy
I do not occupy myself with things too great or too marvelous for me. And he says, like a child with his mother, so is my soul within
weaned,
me.
yeah.
You have weaned like a child. It was a beautiful text.
Yeah.
And so I'm in my message and just preaching. And then in my message, I just start talking about how, this is good news that we can find contentment even when our situations aren't good. And I was like, I got bad news this week, church.
Insert clip here.
And no one had any idea what I was talking about, but they're all looking at me like, huh? And I'm just
also shocked that pastors get bad news.
Also shocked that pastors would talk about on the platform, hey, I got bad news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and that's what Pastor Obed was saying on the last episode. And he had a great little bit where he talks about how social media companies, when they meet, all they talk about is people's pain. And they spend maybe a few minutes on the solution about how to fix it. But in the church world, all we talk about is the solutions. We don't talk about the pain. And when you give people pain, it connects us.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we're connected through celebration as much as through pain. So I was like, man, we got some bad news. And then we came home, maybe an hour after we got home, we were laying on the couch like we normally do. And the owner of this building texted us and said, hey, we heard you got denied. But we want to do whatever it takes to get you guys in here. And was like, here's our proposal.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And they sent us basically a proposal that allows us to occupy this building as we pay it, almost similar to what we originally asked for.
Yeah, what we were believing for before.
So it's just a miracle to sit here now and like be filming a podcast. We're getting ready to paint some walls. Like we're getting ready.
Yeah,
to, like,
well, sometimes
chairs are
God
showing
has
up.
exactly what you want, exactly the way you asked for it. It's just, are you willing to wait? And what are you going to do while you're waiting? Because this is what we asked for.
Yeah.
We first got here. I wasn't even here yet. And you landed, you came with Ben, you walked this place, and it was like, we want a lease to buy. And so exactly what we asked for
is right in front of us.
But just 18 months later.
Yeah. How do you do with waiting for stuff? Like, do you feel like you're pretty patient in life, or
for food? No.
Like what happens if you're waiting a little bit too long for food? Let's say
for food?
Yeah. Let's say you're in an In-N-Out Burger. You're back in the glory.
I just try to keep my salvation intact, man.
Yeah, you're back in the glory that is In and Out.
Kidding, you can't lose your
And
salvation.
you're waiting. It's been 20 minutes. What's happening in your body, your brain?
Well, I'm probably a little bit like agitated with you.
Okay, so hangry.
Like you just look
describes
at me and I'm like, look away.
But I'm not the one.
It doesn't matter. I'm hangry now. You should have got me here earlier. Just kidding.
Concerning. This is very concerning.
No, I'm just kidding. I
Okay, so
probably am like,
get
all right,
angry.
what's up?
Yeah.
I just get annoyed. And then I'll go up to the counter and I'll ask once, like, hey, our order, I saw like 4 or 5 people before us. Is it like,
Yeah.
what's up? You know?
Yeah. Or I'm more so probably like, I feel like though I start considering like the employees and I'm like, well, you know, they might be having a bad day, you know.
You
or-
do consider them, which is fine. I think that's great. You should still be nice to every service worker when you're asking for your food that's late. That's the thing. I won't be mean to a service food.
Really?
And no. I feel like I would be like,
that when people are
oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. I will not hang out with you again if you were rude to our server. I want nothing to do with you.
Really?
Yes. I'll still love you, bro. I will love you, but dog, I am not going out to dinner with you again. That's
Or we're
embarrassing.
gonna sit at a different table next time.
No, I ain't even sitting with you. No, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
agree though, because we've been at tables where people go off on the server, and I'm like,
Oh my God, my dad tries to get sassy and I call him out.
oh my gosh, your dad is like talking.
I'm like, I don't remember the last time you cooked. What you talking about? Getting your food out to me earlier.
Yeah, he'll be like, he'll say something to the server, and I'll just be like, we're not blood.
He's like, Diet Coke. I said Diet Coke, and then I go, he's asking for a Diet Coke. I'm sorry. See, my dad's the only one, you know.
Did you ever see that Office episode where they ask for the gabagool and the guy sells insurance, but like they think he's mob, and so they go out to eat and
I'll have the gabagool.
yeah, he's like, I'll have the gabagool, and if it comes back wrong, I'm sending it back. And I was like, man, that's how your dad is sometimes. Like he'll be like, I'll take the cheeseburger, and if it's not good, I'll send it right back. Like, no, this isn't good enough. Send
Yeah.
it back.
Yep.
I'll just eat the food just to not bother the employee. I'm a little too soft. I'm like, it's delicious.
Yeah, see, I won't do that.
Yeah,
I feel
see,
like
that's
I'm the
weird.
happy medium. My dad's way over there and you're way over there and I'm right in the middle. Because if I don't like my food, I'll say something, but I'll say it like very gently. I'll be like,
You'll
hey,
get-
you guys forgot the avocado.
Randy's the type that like won't give a good tip, but she'll write a Bible verse on it. That's like
No, it's not.
That's the
We're
balance.
generous.
Well,
No.
I'm not saying you're not generous, but I'm saying if they don't do a good job,
Oh yeah, I'll still tip them.
I'm not
a
saying
small
you
amount.
won't tip them, but I'm just saying like if they don't do a good job, I'm like, well, here's a good tip. I hope you have a good day. It's gonna be okay. You know, I don't do good with confrontation with waitresses. So and waiters, if they do something, I'm still like, all right, you know, and I'm a little too soft.
Here's a
Your
30% tip.
Your dad is like ruthless. He'll give like no tip and cuss on the way out.
No,
and be
he'll
upset.
tip big,
yeah, he still
but he'll be
tips.
mean.
But he'll be mean.
That's his thing.
Yes, Randy will probably not tip very good if the person hasn't done a good job, but then she'll just write a verse. God loves you. Come to our church. Jesus' name. Amen. But it's just been cool to be able to process stuff and you know, to sit in like those moments of a miracle
Yeah.
and reflect on, yeah, we do get impatient in these other areas in life.
Yeah, we sure do.
It's very true that those things can carry on into how we get with God. And so while we're waiting for a miracle, while we're waiting for a breakthrough, while we're waiting for something incredible to happen,
Yeah.
it's like the way you treat the waitress, the way you treat the Amazon driver, the way you treat the company that messed that up. Like, what if that was God?
I mean,
Not that he would mess up, but like,
Right.
how would you do with waiting? Because
Yes.
sometimes he says, I'll give it to you, but it's not the time you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, we told Amazon 2 or 3 days, you said Prime.
Yeah.
And we're upset. And God's like, yeah, but I don't give it the way that Amazon gives it.
Yep. I think it's so true. And it's good. It's like, we have to wait. We're impatient people, especially today.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We are the most impatient generation, I think.
And why do you think that is? Like, out of all the generations, why?
Oh, I just feel like we were the generation that transitioned into technology.
Yeah.
Like most of us that were born in the 90s had half of a childhood that was outdoors and didn't get consumed by social media or even television. And then the other half of our growing into adulthood, we had social media at that point. And so I feel like we saw the trend take off, the ability to like get everything at your fingertips. Like in order to learn something before, you had to open up a encyclopedia and study it. Now any information you want, I could learn how to
Within a second.
I could learn anything. I can learn hobbies. I can learn skills. I can learn a trade. I can figure out how to build a house from scratch on my phone.
And that obviously changes how we process the rest of the information.
Yeah. It changes everything. I mean, it changes how you get in contact with somebody. Like before, it was like before cell phones, you called somebody, and if they weren't home, you left them a message and you hope that they heard it by the end of their day. Who knows what time they'll be home?
Yeah.
Now, if somebody reaches out to you and you don't get back to them right away, they know you have your phone all day, so you're just ignoring them. So then we're impatient, not taking into consideration that you might be consumed by something else, anything else, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I just feel like we're an impatient people with friendship. We're impatient, with waiting. And that's why I think God has us waiting more like than any other time. Like he has us practicing the patience, practicing the wait, because no other generation has had things at their fingertips.
Yeah, and I think what the Bible say, patience produces endurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be able to get through more in life when we are patient with the things that haven't happened yet.
Yeah.
While we're going through something terrible, a patient spirit won't try to rush through the suffering. A patient spirit embraces it, sits in it, loves it.
Suffers well.
Yeah, not that you love the suffering, but loves people even in the midst of it. Still loves God in the midst of it and learns to suffer well. So
5 minutes. Okay, so I want to ask you a few questions, and I want to know what you think. I don't know if we want to call this anything, but it's like, what are your thoughts on TikTok preachers or social media preachers? Listen, let me just say this: not pastors or teachers or lecturers or whatever that are involved and trained or taught whatever, and they just transfer their content from in service or around people to there. But like they don't have any background. They're just jumping on and giving theology on stuff. What are your thoughts?
TikTok theology is very concerning when it's just kind of like thrown out there and a big group of people believe it without ever questioning, like, where's this guy from? What does he believe? What does he actually think? And that ranges on a bunch of issues. For me, I don't even have a TikTok. You kind of keep me in the loop with all the TikTok stuff. But I catch some of the content on like shorts on YouTube and reels on Instagram. And I think any type of theology that's packaged like that to just swipe up and let me try to give you a big idea in a 30-second video. I just don't think that complex questions can be answered so quickly sometimes. Like I believe Jesus gave great answers and always closed off things. He never left people going, well, what does that actually mean? Like it was very clear. But yeah, I think hi, bestie. Come here.
Addie, our daughter just walked in.
Our daughter just got on set, y'all.
Hi, Timut. Hi. Look at her. She's so excited. Hi. Can you say hi?
Can you say hi?
Hi. Say, what's up? Can you say mama?
Hi, Chevs. Our goddaughter's in the house.
Hi, Chevs and Bev. You want to come say hi?
You want to come say hi too? No.
No. What's up, Besto?
But yeah, TikTok, I don't know. You got to play me a clip or something.
Okay, so there's a few different, I feel like there's a few different kinds of, there's a few different kinds of content creators for Bible stuff. So there is this page that I followed and I saw their stuff a long time ago. It's, she just can't tip anything over, but
come here, Addie.
And they do it they call it Bible tea. So it's like telling the tea and the drama of all the Bible scriptures, and it's kind of like a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So let me play one for you. This has 3.1 million views.
Okay.
So Jacob has 12 sons, okay? And in Genesis 49, he blesses all of them individually. But today we're going to talk about Judah, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Benjamin. So he blesses them, right? He tells Judah, from your lineage will come the Messiah. So Jesus comes from the line of Judah. What does he promise Zebulun? For Zebulun,
Wait, hold on. This is not.
I was gonna say that's great teaching.
No.
That's the thing. I don't think that all TikTok theology is bad because to categorize everything on TikTok as like TikTokers are crazy. Hey girl, hi.
Keep going.
Anybody that preaches on TikTok is crazy because it's only in a 15-second soundbite and it's not deep enough. I don't want to sound like that guy. I'm not saying that all TikTok is bad. Because I follow a couple people on Reels where they literally have like a pen and they go around and they say, look at this. And I'm like, wow, I just learned something in 15 seconds.
Okay, let me see.
Some of it is straight up.
Some of these are funny.
Some of them are funny. Some of them are straight up heretical, like camouflaged as funny.
Yes.
Huh. Say hi. Addie girl. Come here.
Let me see. I really want to find one that I had already seen.
Drop in the comments if you're still watching your thoughts on TikTok theology.
Keeping up with Jesus and the disciples.
Okay.
So I was hanging out with Jesus and the disciples one day, and then out of nowhere, this leper comes up to us, and we just kind of froze in place. But Jesus starts walking up to the guy, and knowing him, something amazing is about to happen. And then something amazing happened. He healed the guy of leprosy. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Oh my gosh.
I'm clean. I'm clean.
He was jumping for joy saying, I'm clean, I'm clean. And we're like, yes, you
Guys,
are.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going to ask more so like the crazy TikTok theology stuff. Because both of those videos sounded pretty solid. You know, Zebulon and breaking down Judah and all that. That's great. I think my first answer to the question was more so like, because I've seen like some stuff that just, it's packaged in such a way.
Okay.
It has been brought to my attention that I offended some of you.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Anybody that starts a video like that, this is going somewhere.
There's one guy, he might have been banned on it.
I think Jordan Peterson, you ever heard his quote on that? He has a quote where someone says, how do you fight for free speech or whatever without being so offensive or something like that? And he was like, you know, they asked him, why are you so offensive? And he's like, well, anytime you talk about truth, you have to risk being offended because we have differing views. And so I'm going to talk about my view. You talk about yours. We're going to be offended. That's what it means to have a conversation or something. It was pretty solid. I'm probably misquoting it, but I just remember hearing that and I'm like, oh, well.
Homosexuality. The Bible says absolutely nothing about homosexuality.
Is this Brandon Robertson?
The Bible doesn't condemn LGBT
I know
people.
this guy.
There are 6 verses that people misunderstand and misinterpret to condemn LGBT sex. But if you actually study those verses in their culture and context, you quickly find that they're referring to sexual exploitation and temple prostitution.
Yeah. I know Brandon Robertson. He's made it big on TikTok, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody that has an opposing opinion on anything is going to make it big on TikTok.
Yeah, no, but his whole ministry, I think, is like taking the LGBT conversation, LGBTQI plus conversation, and basically saying, oh yeah, you know those scriptures we've had for thousands of years? That's not what it means.
Yeah.
And I also got enough like older heads on my feed where I've watched videos of people exposing Brandon Robertson, just saying like, where's this coming from?
Well, it's hard to say like it's a translation issue. Like you've said this before, when the original translation is available now.
Yeah, when someone argues, whether it's Mormonism, whether it's, because they argue a lot about mistranslations, or it's the LGBTQI plus conversation where people are like, homosexual doesn't mean homosexual. It's like, guys, we have the actual language. And I'd love to do a video of this on my own channel one day where we just break down some of this stuff, because the word homosexual, you're right, it wasn't a commonly known word. Like,
well, it wasn't a word used back then either.
They wouldn't have used that. So what Paul does is when he references this in the 2 Corinthians passage as well as the 1 Timothy passage, he's using words that are used in other cultures to try to make sense of a man that lies in bed with a man. And like he takes those from outside. And so when you take time to actually look at the original language, look at other things outside of the Bible, it doesn't take a lot of work to go, oh, this means a man that lies in bed like normally with a woman, but with a man.
Yeah.
He basically made a word and put it together.
Got it.
And I think sometimes Brandon Robertson, you know, he's got 30 seconds on TikTok. You don't have a chance to rebuttal that. Like, hey, well, wait a minute.
Yeah. And if you do, and not just with this specifically, but anything, and I think in today's day and age, like being a Christian at all just means so much to anybody the second you say it. Yeah. But any form of arguing back and trying to hold on to scripture at any scale, if it excludes anybody, and not even the person, but the life, the whatever, if it excludes that, there's instantly this resistance, like, oh my God. Well, not just resistance, like you're a horrible person, you're this, you're that.
That's good.
It's crazy.
I'm preaching that on Sunday. I'm talking about unity on Sunday. And I want to talk about how we have such misrepresented how to accept somebody. Like I accept people no matter what they believe. That doesn't mean I have to approve of their decisions and their belief systems. I can accept someone in my lifestyle regardless of whether I approve or not of them. And I think we have to reteach Christians like, dude, you know,
how to continue to exist when people disagree with you.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Not even like prove your point, but just like keep living your life. I don't know. I feel like people get crippled.
They really do. I was just having a meeting with 2 Latter-day Saints, and I invited them on the podcast too, by the way. I said, hey, why don't you guys come on? We'd love to just talk and Genuinely, but they, as soon as we started differing on stuff, they got very like, and they called it the spirit of contention. And I was like, what do you mean? They go, it just seems like you're being very tense now. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying I disagree with you. Mm-hmm. And we've been now in this culture that disagreement means division. And it's like, you and I disagree all the time on things.
Yes, we do.
We always disagree on things, but it doesn't mean that we come back and we say, but we're not going to be united as husband and wife. You know, I think the church as a whole, you've got hundreds of people in our church right now that all don't agree on things. You know, where to go eat, how to spend their money, where to live, who to vote for, clothes to wear, views on other people, that it's so important that as long as we stay united, we can have differing opinions.
I agree.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
You want some? Let mama help. You want mama to
Melvin.
help? You want mama to help?
Let's get Melvin in here real quick before we shut this episode down.
Okay.
Yeah, this is episode 3 of the Good News Podcast.
Come over here, bro.
We got Mel. Welcome to the show,
friend.
Melvin.
Lights, camera, action, papi.
Welcome, bro.
Go on.
Welcome. Welcome to the Good News Show.
How you doing, man? What's going on?
Hey, tell the people a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where you from? What's your name?
Man? I'm Melvin Santiago, man. I'm from Puerto Rico, you know, and I met Jesus in Dunkirk, New York at the Gospel Church.
Let's go.
At the movie theater. And you
got
know,
saved in our church, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Melvin met
got
Jesus.
Baptized May 29th, to be exact.
Let's go, baby.
And it's just been a beautiful thing, man, you know.
Yeah, point it towards you a little bit. Wait,
Yeah.
So wait a second. How'd you hear about the church? Didn't you get like did y'all get a mail or something?
My wife, she got I don't know if it was a candy cane or a reindeer or something. She had got at the church
At Walmart.
from somebody from Walmart. At
Yes,
Walmart.
we were handing out candy canes with like little gospel things on them.
So she got one of those in like December, and you know, they kept asking her, you know, when you coming to church, and you know, she had that candy cane for so long, and then come April 18th, the first day I came to church that was it right there.
Crazy.
That was
your son right there.
Yeah, that's my
sorry,
son right
that's
there.
Cash on the camera.
That was my new beginning, man. And
Let's
you know,
go.
I've been coming to church ever since, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. And
I had oh yeah, you got something? Go ahead.
yeah, man, for those out there, you know, who need to come to church, man,
Minister,
try it
man
out.
of God.
Give it a try, man. Give it a try, man. You know, this was the best thing I did in my life, man, was come to church.
So good.
One day, and it changed my life, man. So
That's all it takes, man.
that's all it takes, man.
How do you feel? This is your first time in the building?
Yeah, this is my first time in the
so
building.
Melvin heard the news last week at rehearsal that we got in the building. First time in there. What do you think? This is sanctuary, bro.
Man,
This is ours.
Wow, this is ours, man. It's unbelievable, man.
We're gonna paint
what God
in here.
could do, man, for you. You just gotta believe and have faith and keep going, man.
Man, you
know?
a preacher, man.
Yeah,
That's why I love
man.
it.
Yo.
I love our kids, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're doing our podcast. This is episode 3. It's usually pretty chill. I did one with Pastor Obed. I did one with Apostle Sherman. I'm sorry? I don't think you met.
No, I haven't met them, but I
Because
seen
you
it.
came after lunch, huh?
Yeah. I seen it on
Man,
your
but you saw the
page.
YouTube video.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
seen
so
it.
he saw it.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah, this is the 3rd one. So we're going to start having a setup here at the building so that like on a Sunday, if someone has a story or a testimony, like as church is breaking out, it's like, dude, God did a miracle in this lady's life. Can you come to our podcast real quick? We'd love to just hear what happened.
Oh, that's amazing, man. I think
just to
that'll
get
draw
to
more
know.
people, and you know, for people to know their stories, and you know.
What do you think is going to happen to our church now that we have a building? Like, what do you think is next?
Man, to fill this house up, man.
Let's go, baby.
That's what it's about.
You think it's
man.
gonna grow?
I think it's gonna grow,
Yeah.
man. And you know, just to keep spreading the word, man. I feel like more people are gonna come. You know, it's a building now. You know, sometimes they think, oh, it's a movie theater. You know, they still come. You know, but having a building, you know, it's like more official.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
more
just
permanent.
to have a set spot. You know, I think
Okay.
more people will come.
We're going to close this episode off with a couple questions, okay? And I need you to not give me the first thing that comes to your mind, but I need you to answer these pretty quick.
All right.
Okay. Ice cream truck pulls up outside. What are you going to order?
Ice cream truck.
What's your order?
Probably a ice cream cone.
Just a normal cone?
Yep, a
Okay.
normal cone.
Just an ice cream
A
cone,
vanilla cone.
classic.
A vanilla cone.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. What's your
A
go-to?
coffee triple, a dark roast.
What does a triple mean?
A triple is 3 creamers, 3 sugars.
Bro, that is a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And that's a lot going on in
Nah,
there.
man, but sometimes Tim Hortons, man, see this right here, man, they be stingy with the sugar, you know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Baseball or basketball?
Basketball.
Yeah, who's your favorite team?
Well, I'm a Kobe fan.
Oh, that was going to be my next question. Who's the greatest player of all time?
Well, back then it was Jordan. It was always Jordan. But
That was
you know,
close.
when Kobe came into the league, he took over.
Listen, it's a simple question.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
Michael Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan.
I'm there with you too. I'm a
Yeah.
Jordan guy, 100%. I think
LeBron James now, he's the GOAT.
yeah, in the
LeBron
league.
James
for
in the
sure.
league right now.
Sure.
He's the Michael Jordan of this generation.
Oh, I could feel that.
Yeah.
You rebuke that spirit? Yeah, my wife's Kobe, ride or die. Her dad too. We've already been talking.
Yeah, but Kobe, you know,
We've already been talking trash about your dad.
Kobe
He
was,
don't
but
tip.
you know,
He likes
we're
Kobe.
just speaking of as now playing in the league right
Yeah,
now.
I got you. Yeah,
so
sure.
you know what I'm saying. But
Very cool.
Kobe, man, he was the man.
Yeah.
He was the man, yo.
Yeah. Would you rather go jet skiing or snowmobiling?
Well, I've been jet skiing before. I never been snowmobiling, so I'd want to go snowmobiling.
Skydiving or bungee jumping?
That's tough. Skydiving. I used to say I want to go skydiving before, but I'll probably get up there and won't even jump.
Juggling axes or juggling sticks that are on fire?
Sticks that are on fire.
Okay. And last one, you never can brush your teeth again or you can never take a shower again. Which one are you choosing?
Man, that's a tough one. Probably, man.
This is a big question.
Man,
this is
that's
the final
a-
question of the episode, man. I need your deep
Wow.
thoughts here. You can't put deodorant on ever again?
Wow.
Shower
that's
again?
that
None of
hygiene.
that.
I mean, you could close your mouth
Or-
and be, a little different. So it'd probably be that one. Probably.
Never
you
brush
know,
your teeth again?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it, huh? So your body smell good, but your breath
but your
just...
breath, you just gotta keep it closed, you know?
I got
You
my
gotta-
mask on today.
You gotta know when to speak.
Thank you. Can I have one? Thank you. Thank you. Well, glad. Thanks for jumping on, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
man. Thanks, man. Thanks
Yeah,
for
hey.
the opportunity.
Well, that's a wrap on Good News Episode 3. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We've got some big guests coming up soon. We're going to have Jerry Perez, Giovanni Cardenas on. Maybe do like a 3 conversation. We got my friend Tyshawn's going to be in town in a couple weeks. So we'll have him on the podcast. And then I'll be traveling. We'll get just a bunch of friends on the... Thank you, baby. Thank you. And so thanks for watching. Until next time, good news. We love you.
Peace.